Hello, hello, Sarah of SEK Handmade here, and today I want to share with you how to use a wraps per inch tool. Let's go. A wraps per inch tool can be a super handy tool for figuring out what size yarn you have if you're like me and you've hoarded a bunch of balls of yarn and you thought for sure you'd remember what they were. And now you don't. For this tutorial, the supplies that you'll need are a wraps per inch tool, some yarn. You can go ahead and take any yarn. It doesn't even have to be a leftover, and you can absolutely know what it is. It actually might be a good comparison as you get started here to compare your wraps per inch to what you know a ball of yarn is. And then this isn't necessarily a must-have, but I just have a little fun ceramic bowl here that I'm just going to plop my yarn into so that it doesn't roll away from me as I'm wrapping around my wraps per inch tool. But if you're like, Sarah, I don't have a fancy wraps per inch tool, that doesn't mean you can't use this method. You can very easily take a ruler and wrap around a 1-inch space. This makes it really easy to see because you know what an inch is, but you can also use just a pencil or any surface that you can wrap the yarn around and then use a ruler to measure what an inch is. If, however, you're like, I don't have a wraps per inch tool, but I sure do want one. I totally understand. I always want all the adorable tools. This one will be linked in the description below so that you can go and shop this wonderful small business owner as well. All right, so to use my wraps per inch tool, the first thing I'm going to do is find the end of my yarn scrap here. Oh, there it is. And then I'm just going to place the ball in my ceramic bowl here so that it, like I said, it doesn't roll away from me. It just makes it easier. Then I'm going to lay my yarn over my wraps per inch tool and kind of pinch it with my hand that I'm holding my wraps per inch tool with. Then I'm just going to very carefully wrap my yarn around my tool in the area of the little cutout here. They have cut out an inch right there so that I can know that I already have an inch ready to go. As you're doing this, you want to be careful not to tug on your yarn because you can see that shrinks up the width of the yarn. So if I lay it like that, you can see the width of the yarn, and then when I tug on it, it really narrows the yarn. So you want to lay it over without putting a bunch of extra pressure on the yarn and stretching it out so that you get an accurate reading. Now, this is an estimate here. And then you can see I kind of have some space between my yarn. I'm going to try to scooch it together so that it's all touching really nicely without smushing it together so that I'm not exaggerating the number of wraps per inch. So I want to be real careful. And so now I have my inch full here, and I'm going to count how many wraps I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then this tool is super handy because it has several tools on the back of it. And underneath here is a chart of what wraps per inch equals what weight of yarn. And so I can compare my 11 wraps per inch either to that or to another chart that you can find on Pinterest or online. Just search yarn wraps per inch, and I'm sure a bunch of them will come up. And there you have it. That's how you use a wraps per inch tool. They can be super handy for finding the perfect yarn to go with the perfect project. I hope that this video has helped make identifying yarns so much easier. If you found this tutorial helpful, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, like this video, turn on notifications, and maybe even share it with a friend. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy crafting!